All right. Tick-tock, it's the bottom of the hour. Find a seat. Put your conversation on pause for a minute. Let's have a meeting. This is the routing area open meeting. Thank you for being here. I'm John.
Jim. Gunther.
Gunther.
Andrew.
And there's Andrew on TV. We have the same note well as everybody else does. And hopefully you've already noted it well. So we have a short meeting. If somebody is willing to take notes, that would be awesome. Thank you so much, Darren. We don't need extensive ones, action items, the usual. Agenda bashing, hopefully there's not a bash, but if there's anything that we're missing on here, please speak up. Otherwise, we'll do a very brief state of the area, and then we've asked 3 working groups chosen not at random to report out. By the way, at any one of these things, if you happen to feel like you want to report out and we haven't asked you to, you're always allowed to propose a talk. So I think there's been less action than there was in the last couple meetings, but RAW has closed. We have been talking that up, so that should not be a surprise to anyone. It's rolled into DetNet. Babel is expecting to close soon, and we don't currently have any new working groups or BOFs. So thanks so much to Andrew Alston, and welcome to Gunther. And so this is the sort of TLDR of working group assignment changes, but that's the full list of how the working groups are going to be distributed. So everything stays the same, except Gunther is taking over with LSR. I'm taking over with IDR. You can read the rest. And
That's the full list.
yeah, that's it for our slides. So let me get the slides queued up for first Jeffrey. As soon as I can remember how to operate the slide clicky thing.
Okay, so I'm Jeffrey Zhang, a co-chair for the RIF working group. There's another Jeff, so Jeff and Jeffrey. So RIFT is a relatively new routing protocol for data center. It basically links to the routing in the northbound and distance vector routing in the southbound. The working group was chartered with 3 initial deliverables: base protocol specification, applicability statement, and the YANG model. Finally, we finished the RIF base protocol, the draft RIF-20, past the IETF last call. And thanks for Jim and Alvaro going through the painful process of reviewing it, and a lot of revisions. And also, of course, the co-authors of the protocol and working group members. The applicability statement needs one revision to catch up the changes in the most recent base spec change. And the YANG model drafts, it's in the AD evaluation or AD follow-up, but we believe we also need one revision to catch up. So that's the existing work. There are quite some follow-up work that we want to do. We have not started a recharter process, but we are discussing a new charter. And here's some basic items we thought about want to continue to work on. Key value store, policy guided prefix, segment routing, multicast, leaf-ring topology, and dragonfly topologies, and also using Rift zero-touch provisioning for automatic provisioning of other protocols or mechanisms. For example, use it for EVPN overlay or ISS flood reflection topology discovery, things like that. Also, we would like to explore the use and extensions of the Rift protocol for the newer AI ML data center architectures. So that's the thing we are thinking of. Obviously, we need more discussions and to finish all these things. So that's the update from the Rift working group. Yeah.
Thank you. And well, Jim.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, so the base spec as you said, has gone through last call. I do encourage people to go and look at the document. The more feedback I get before it goes through the final process, the better. I did want to say thank you to a couple of people. Donald very kindly did a very thorough review. I'm very thankful for that. And also both of my current co-ADs, both Andrew and John have given it a good once over as well. So I do encourage people to go and look at the document and give us as much feedback. It's heavy going because it's a big document, but there's some really pretty cool stuff in there if you haven't already read it. So any feedback definitely appreciated. What's that? Oh, Andrew.
Andrew, were you wanting to say something? Your mic looks like it's hot.
No, mic should have been off.
Okay, my mistake.
Hi, presenting on behalf of my co-chair, Richie, who is not here today. So what's Lisp? Just this brief refresher. Lisp is an overlay routing that separates the identifier and the locator. So we have actually a mapping NCAP decap protocol. The map server is actually responsible for the mapping of the EID, which is the endpoint identifiers in Lisp, to the route locators, which are typically the IP addresses. While the scope of Lisp technologies has been applicable to a much larger span since when it started, I will see in the future next slides. And the big news is that the working group has a new charter and was approved January 25th. So I am just going to show the charter work items, but I'm not going to go through them in detail here, just for the sake of time. So we're moving some of our previous experimental documents to standard track, but there's still a few of them that we need to do, and they're listed here. For example, the multicast, the canonical addresses. Then we will be working on a reliable transport for the mapping system, just because there are certain cases for scalability doesn't work very well. There's a lot of retransmission, and definitely a reliable service would be better. And the Yang models, of course, we'll be exploring the traffic engineering. There has been several propositions over the years, but we want to finish on those. And net transversal is something which is, we will see, almost ready. Privacy and security, we have been working on anonymizing EIDs and having encrypted identifiers as well. So we'll be diving into this. Then Lisp external connectivity is more about Lisp talking to other services that are non-Lisp sites. And of course, mobility, one big advantage of Lisp is that because there is a separation between the identifier and the locator and a mapping system, mobility works well for it. And last is we'll have much more applications and less than we did previously. One of them, for example, is automobile industries. So we're still having, we're actually going to revamp the use case doc. Now, just an update on the documents that we have here. Most of these docs that we have are based on the charter and the priority in the charter. So the first one is the one with the red dot. There is traffic engineering is actually needs some review right now. We're almost done with the name and coding. The only reason why it's still here is because we're discussing now whether we want to put it into a standards track rather than experimental track. The next one, the Nexicon, is flagged as red here, but actually the story on that one is the review was done on a very older, an older version. So I think it's ready to get resubmitted. So we'll do that. And then there's two other drafts right now, reliable transport and Yamaro is closer to the end. There's a couple of questions that came up and that the working group is getting polled on what we want to do. For example, some of the coordinates are done in latitude rather than in decimal references, for example. And the last one, the reliable transport, this went through full review by the 2A chairs, and we want to have some feedback. They're still going to address our feedback. All right, and then the next we have a few other RFCs here who have to or drafts that have to go into again that cycle. So right now, one of those is the NAT transversal. It is, I think, pretty close as well. So the others will come back as we look at this priority, which is basically the milestone that we're trying to aim at. So most of the drafts that we've seen just before can be actually grouped into those milestones, and that's where we are aiming for this year and next year. Hopefully, getting all these papers out, and then we'll reevaluate.
Hi, I'm Tony Lee. I'm presenting on behalf of Tarek, Nick, and our outgoing chair, Adrian. So as you may recall, Loa stepped down after serving as chair for 20 years. We'd like to again thank him for his service. I think we should be saying that for another 20 years. Adrian stepped up to fill his role and has been helping things move along. And one of his preconditions was that he stepped down after this IETF. So he will be stepping down, and I am now the incoming co-chair. We have lots of documents in progress. We are juggling many, many things. I am not going to read all of them in detail. If you would like to talk about them, please come to the working group. We will be happy to talk about them then. The most important thing to know is that we are still very much working on MNA, network actions. And we have lots of documents in the queue for that. And those we hope to progress very rapidly at this point. So lots of little things. Okay. Things completing working group last call, things coming out, things queued for publication. Again, we're working on M&A. We have some reports of implementation experience. Not all of it good, but that's interesting. We're working through that, trying to figure out what to do about that, if anything. We want to have an interim after 119 to help settle this, so we'll continue. Still doing some house cleaning for some expired IDs. Just got a large backlog of documents. We had an interesting liaison statement from ITU SG11. This actually didn't come to us directly, but it bounced off to MPLS, and we've responded. This is about doing basically traceroute for MPLS, and basically sent SG11 a diplomatically worded note. All right, that's all my slides. Any questions?
All right. Thank you. That went really fast. The one thing that occurred to me that we didn't have on the slides up front was we have routing area office hours on Thursday at lunchtime. So, please feel free to avail yourself of that. We also apparently have an extra 44 minutes right now. So, unless anybody has anything else they'd like to bring up right now, we are concluded. But, if there's anything you want to talk about, step right up. And I do see Andrew at the mic. So please go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, I just wanted to say a sincere thank you to John and Jim for their time working with me. It's been great, guys, and all your hard work during the time has been appreciated, and you will both be missed as I step down. So thank you, and if everybody could give them a round of applause for all the hard work they do, that would be good.
I'm tearing up, man. We'll miss you too. Don't be a stranger. And with that, we are in fact concluded. Thank you, everybody.
Well, that was quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-oh, look out, look out, look out, John.
Incoming.
Oh, no way. Evil person. What you had wanted to figure out how to go about reviewing this monstrosity that IETF has created.
I didn't say I wanted to figure that out, but I'm going to have to. So.
Right, and you thought that maybe they will also have opinions about how this reads to get that. So I figured I'd say times available. If you guys want to do it